Welcome to what was once dubbed the world's murder capital, the hometown of the most deadly and infamous criminal of recent times, Pablo Escobar. Now full of swanky bars and restaurants, a few years ago we wouldn't have dreamed of filming here in Colombia's second city, Medellin. In the early 90s, 6,000 people were murdered yearly. An artwork has given Medellin a brave and colourful new face. Changes like this have helped bring peace and pride to a community once plagued with drugs and violence. So as France 24 opens its fourth news channel, this time in Spanish with the headquarters in Colombia, we're here to discover how Medellin has gone from the world's most dangerous city to one of Colombia's liveliest and most creative. One of the keys to Medellin's transformation, its creative methods of transportation. 5 metro cable lines travel deep into the poor, far-flung and formerly cut-off comunas in the surrounding hills, connecting 20,000 passengers a day to the city.
Right now we are in Comuna 13, and this is the escalator section.
This escalator opened in 2012, the first of its kind in the world. Before, people in this area, known as Comuna 13, had to hike the equivalent of 28 stories home after working in the city. It took 30 minutes. Now it takes 6.
The access of this area was very difficult before the escalators. So that meant for the people, the only options they had was to become a criminal gang or to sell drugs. And now they have different options. They can go to schools, they can go to the university, they can find jobs in the city.
So thanks to these escalators, the crime levels went down in this area of Comuna 13 because this was the worst part of the city before.
You know, Medellin was the most dangerous city. Comuna 13 was the most dangerous neighborhood of all Medellin. So you can imagine how difficult the situation here was. The violence here was obscene. So Pablo Escobar used to train his soldiers here, and they went to the ages of 10, as young as 10. Before, not even locals from Medellin would come to this area. And now even tourists can come. And that changes a lot of the perspective, even for the people inside. Because when you see tourism in an area, you know there is safety, there is secure, and people can feel proud of it. Street art is one of the biggest transformations of Comuna 13. And here we are with Chota. Hello, Chota, how are you, man? Let me introduce you to Ivy.
Mucho gusto, Chota.
¿Nos puedes contar la historia del mural?
Okay, bueno, acá
This mural represents the history of the neighborhood. The owl represents the memory and the strength of Comuna 13.
Un poco de la memoria y un poco de esa fuerza, ¿cierto?
How has art transformed life here in Comuna 13?
Bueno, primero que nada,
We now concentrate on graffiti,
en un arte callejero, pero en un,
but it's street art with a
graffiti
purpose,
artístico.
a story
El graffiti
behind it.
artístico es aquel que habla, que cuenta una historia.
How do you feel about the new colourful look of the city and of Comuna 13?
I've lived in the neighborhood nearly all my life. I've seen and participated in its transformation, and today we have a better life. We're very grateful and proud to come from Comuna 13 and to be able to talk about the positive aspects of life here.
Do you think art has helped reduce the crime levels in Comuna 13?
We create art that brings us all together. It attracts a younger generation and means they don't have time to get into trouble in the neighborhood. So including them in the artistic process helps create a positive attitude within the community.
Can I do some?
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Ah, you are professional. Nice.
Just clap your hands to the beat. The giant is greater. So step back. We got the soul. Clap your hands to the beat.
Comuna 13 is the birthplace of a unique blend of activism that combines street art and rap music, instruments to promote peace and cultural resistance.
For us in the Comuna 13, from 1999 when the war intensified, we had to say goodbye to many friends, fellow artists, family members. A lot of things happened at that time.
Muchas cosas han pasado. El hijo de Doña Elena, el nieto de Pedro Vázquez, el dueño de la cantina.
Jaco is the founder of the Calacho Music School, aimed at keeping young people off the streets. But their socially conscious anti-violence message has in the past put them at odds with the gangs.
¿Es un riesgo ser un artista del hip hop en Medellín?
It's not a risk to be an artist. As a matter of fact, hip-hop has saved the lives of many youngsters. It's a risk to be a young person in Medellin. In many ways, living in this city is a risk. But unlike what we may imagine, hip-hop has saved the lives of so many of us. It has allowed us to get to places others would not be able to reach. It has opened doors for us. Hip-hop has become a shield, a bulletproof vest.
How has hip-hop changed life in Medellin?
In many ways, a whole generation has been able to express itself through graffiti, through rap, breakdance, and music in general. It's important for the city because it has generated new possibilities.
Herman, introduce me to this group.
So this group right here is Son BATA, one of the coolest groups here, musical group in Medellin. They play African with urban music together.
Son BATA, as a group that comes from Comuna 13, but you are becoming internationally known, what's your mission with your music?
Our role in our community, what we want to bring and show, is the musical aspects, the social change that can arise from our music, the arts and culture. All of our children, all the new generations that came after us, feed off the culture and wealth we are impregnating them with. The overall objective being that later on, they become the main protagonists of this story. For them to have a cultural, artistic reference other than the reference of violence and bad things.
The Son BATA Collective began in 2005 as an alternative space for youth to learn music, art and dance. Since then, they've become award-winning international stars, opening for the likes of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Do you feel like role models then for people here in Comuna 13?
Many people think that because we're from Comuna 13, we haven't gone to university. But many of us in Son BATA are attending university and are graduating soon, and we're from the neighborhood. So we're showing them that anything is possible.
Well said. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter where you were born. It matters how you fight, face life.
The hillside comunas are not the only part of the city that have undergone a drastic transformation. Welcome to Medellin's city centre. Victor, tell me, where are we?
This is Botero Square, an area that used to be made up of very narrow streets. It was really isolated. The artist Fernando Botero decided to donate these sculptures that were receiving attention worldwide. Before, this square was filled with prostitutes and criminals. Now you see how it has transformed. It is a place that allows people from Medellin to make a living. If you look around, people are surviving by selling hats, cigarettes, or phone minutes. These people have a friendly spirit and joie de vivre, despite living in poverty. This is typical Antiochian survival spirit. I believe this space represents a new Medellin.
Y yo creo que pues este espacio representa un nuevo Medellín, la verdad.
Victor Gaviria is one of Colombia's best-known directors, the only filmmaker from this country to have shown his films at Cannes. His first movie, Rodrigo D. No Future, is a classic of Latin American cinema. All your films are set in Medellin. Why is the city a good film set?
Pero mira, yo no sé si te has dado cuenta que
Have you noticed that people in this city come up and talk to me all the time? They know me because I film here. I always film in Medellin because humanly and dramatically it is a mine for stories. I feel engaged to tell those stories, to go deep into them. I had the idea to make my films include a large part of the Medellin population that has been culturally and economically excluded.
Medellin and Colombia is trying to move on from its violent past, but you still focus on people who live in the margins of society. Are you not tempted to show another side of this city?
Look, during the 80s, 90s, and the beginning of the 21st century, I portrayed this exclusion of certain parts of the population because of violence. But at the same time, I have portrayed the humanity that exists even within that violence. A desperate humanity. I try to understand these values, but the city has changed. I see the heroic characters who are trying to leave behind drug addiction and violence. These people are trying to survive and learn new skills, study, harness technology. They are transforming, and this is very moving.
In this neighborhood, in a poor part of the city, teacher Marta ALVAREZ is bringing dance to a new generation, providing disadvantaged young people with valuable life skills. How long have you been dancing for?
I've been dancing since I was 3.
Since you were 3, and how does it make you feel dancing? How important is it for you?
Dance is my life. It makes me feel things that nothing else does. It makes me feel like myself. It describes who I am.
It's a passion. It's using our bodies to express ourselves. It's a passion that feels like being in the sky. It's like being in a dream.
Dance keeps us out of trouble. It keeps us busy.
Marta, 25 years ago, this was a really violent place. How did you get people off the streets and dancing?
It was very difficult because back then there was a problem, a very violent armed conflict, a lot of drug addiction, there were gangs and you couldn't move around the neighborhood. So it was difficult to invite them, to call up the kids. In general, only girls would come. I even had groups of 70 girls and not one boy. So we had to raise awareness, to give a name to the group to show how serious I was. And I also deprived myself of many things, working Monday to Monday, from 7 in the morning till 10, 11 at night, taking care of different groups. People started to notice how serious it was and the change in each kid. I think that was the key to our success. That brought us to where we are today.
Dance, art, and hip-hop. The arts are giving the people of Medellin a place in society. And although there's still some way to go, this colourful city is now part of an altogether brighter picture.